Hi everybody, I'm sorry about this. I was sneezing before. Anyway, welcome to the TV and film and TV review with me and this fella here, Lee Carlson. Good morning, Lee.
Hi, mate. Morning.
You okay?
Yeah, sound, yeah. Good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
All good.
Have you been watching anything lately? I mean, I was watching. I'll start off, but I was watching. Someone told me, people are giving great reviews um, for the True Detective with
Mm.
Jodie Foster. Now I like Jodie Foster. I said, yeah, I'll have a go at that. I'll have a look at it. Watch the first episode of the fourth season. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. To me, it was, like, I don't want to sound misogynist or anything. You have these two girls, two police.
Yeah, I've been watching it myself. I was watching it earlier. I was watching the fifth episode earlier. Do you know what though? I couldn't get into it earlier, so I turned it off the fifth episode and I'm gonna rewatch it. Like I couldn't get into it.
No,
But
I'm glad you actually said that, Lee, because
eh,
getting all these wonderful HBO as well. HBO is absolutely brilliant. They put out some fantastic series. But as I was watching it, I was going, well, what's the? As I said, I just don't want to sound misogynist or sexist. And I seen one like girl, first time I seen her, walking in a
mm,
cop, the attitude, and I went, oh, here we go. And it was just horrible. It was just horrible. And Jodie Foster, being this like other cop, very clever and very astute and tough. She's only 3 foot high, and I thought this is madness. You know.
the
Anyway,
other the other cop's full on, isn't she? Like.
oh, shocking!
I was almost put off in the first like 5 minutes. I was almost thinking, you know what, sod this woman's doing me head in. But
Yeah,
I,
she was doing my head in. It's the same. That's strange, that isn't it? Well, it's not strange. It's just like our opinion.
yeah,
She was full on.
but she's still annoying by the fifth episode. She's still annoying by the fifth episode.
Well, I got through about half an hour or something like that, and I just had to go, change it off.
It's yeah, it's not what it was when it started. True Detective, it was phenomenal. I think it was like God, it was a long time ago. It was over 10 years ago when it started. I think it was.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah.
That's when it first started. But I never looked at the first episode, the first series. I
Mm,
just because people were telling me that it was great. You've got to
mm,
catch this. I just went on. Like even Francine said to me, she said they're all different stories. That so you can just go straight into anything. So I decided to go into the latest series, which is season 4, and I went on it. First episodes, obviously, see what this is all about. This phenomenal thing, as you called it. And I went pink,
mm.
then I went pink off. It was just, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it. And as I said, I can't say too much because people will think that I'm sexist or a misogynist. And I'm
Mm.
not. I'm certainly not a sexist,
No,
or
it
I'm
was.
certainly not a misogynist.
it was unrelenting at the beginning, wasn't it? Like, she wouldn't let up, would she, at the beginning? You were like, bloody hell. So it's calmed down a bit. She was like really hairy, and that about something for the entire first 15 minutes or something. She was shouting. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, yeah, the first series was really, really good. The second series was good. Third series, decent. This one I'm undecided yet because it hasn't finished, but I'm not really feeling it that much. This one, it's like a mystery up there in Alaska. In fact, I won't say too much about it because if anyone wants to watch it, they watch it. Like, but obviously you've got the Inuits, like, and their legends and all that, which I've always been interested in. I've always been very interested in Native American folklore and their spin, just their take on everything, like, and our connection to just the way they see things. I've always been interested in that.
Well, I'm
I've always
glad you said
been
that. I'm so glad you said that because I'm interested in other nations' culture. No matter what kind of country it is, I'm interested in their culture and their beliefs. So it does interest me. So you're on the right lines. What I like as well. There's a book. The American indigenous native. They're fascinating people. This is before the white man got there, and I read a book called The Manitou. Have you ever read it?
No, I've heard of it though.
Read it. It's fantastic. It's highly recommended by me because it's about an indigenous native spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's 5 spirits, and that 5 spirits there's one that's evil, and it's brilliant the way they dissect them. The spirits dissect them, and they put them in the 4 other good spirits put them after dissecting them in the 4 corners of the American continent.
Oh, right.
But what had happened, I'm not giving it too much away, I'm not giving too much away because I advise you to read it if you like things like that. And the spirit is drawing, after hundreds of years, is drawing closer and closer. Each part of them, on the 4 corners is drawing together, coming together. I'll just leave it at that. It's really good. It's really good. The Manitou, it's called. It's called the Manitou. So watch it. But that goes back to ancient times. The book starts off at ancient times, but it goes right into, as it's coming nearer and nearer to completion, modern times.
Yeah, they got so many legends, haven't they? Got so many legends and like there's all those cryptological creatures, isn't there? And I was always fascinated by that as a kid, and then I just carried on being interested in it, like, but only in a sort of glancing way as an adult. Like, it always interested me, like, where it was in films or if I read it in something. So yeah.
Well, Dorothy Langman says, is this the one with Jodie Foster? She's up for an Oscar for this. I haven't watched it yet, but she is a great actress. Absolutely. That's why when I was told about this series, Dorothy, it was because of Jodie Foster that I watched it. I said, "Oh, I'll have a go at this." But as Leah and myself are talking about it, and we agree on things as well, which I was pleased with because I was thinking, hang on a minute, I don't want to sound, I keep repeating myself here, I don't want to sound a misogynist, or I don't want to sound a sexist or anything like that. And unfortunately, after about half an hour of watching this, it started off great, like mysterious, it started off, I'm watching the first episode of the fourth series, the final series, or the latest series, whatever that's season 4, whatever it is. And it started off good, you know, where people are just disappearing. And anyway, when it was going into it, the characters were so they were annoying. Could I say that? They were annoying. The characters, were they annoying to you?
Yeah. Some of them were, yeah.
So that's I've turned it off, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not been that good, to be honest. Like, it's not been that memorable, and I've also wasted my time slightly with a film there as well, just for good measure. Hunter Killer with who's in it was so unmemorable. I've forgotten him. Gary Oldman and Jared Butler in a submarine, Russian submarine, and yeah, and they're under the water.
Well,
I mean, sorry, but
Dorothy says there, she was interviewed on This Morning yesterday. The girl who plays opposite her is a boxer with only 3 acting credits. Thank you. I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to come out and say she couldn't act the goat. You know, the girl, innit? She couldn't act the goat. Terrible acting. And that's how she acted. With attitude. I think she must take it from her, a boxing career. You know, when you get at the weigh-in, when you're opposite your opponent and you're doing all this, all this macho stuff.
Did you like that Joker when it came out? I didn't like that. It was like much heralded and people said it was good and that, but I thought it was awful. I thought it was absolutely awful, that film.
Which?
Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, Joaquin, yeah, and he's a great actor, by the way. And he got
it was woeful. There was one bit in it that held me attention, and one bit only. Where there's like a great big fella with a bald head. He's a heavy fella who was in True Detective season 1 as the killer, and like Joker stabs him in the neck like violently and kills him. But like the film was so bad, if I could have found the script writer, like I would have stabbed him in the bloody neck. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, for wasting nearly 2 hours of my life, Frank. Come on, Francis. I mean, I think I've got a right to be saying that, haven't I? If I could have tracked the man down, I'd have stabbed him in the bloody neck. Bad script, that, mate. Bad script, that.
Well, I've seen some awful scripts in my time as well. Sterling, I love True Detective. Drop the link and I'll join. I can't do that. We have a producer who does all that. I haven't a clue. I can't do anything. I'm a technophobe, as they call it, and I'm one of them. I can't do anything. Yeah, and also, we have a moderator who'll be joining us as soon as he's free. JK sent me a message before. You know what JK's like. So I can't do anything unless you comment, Sterling. I just don't know. I can't do it, unfortunately. But I would. I'd have you on. I really would. Dorothy says, that's not a criticism, but an observation. She came across well in the interview. I'll reserve judgment until I watch it. Well, that's it, you know. But I'm very judgmental on things that I like and dislike. It's not just observation. As I said, you know, when I seen this particular actor, I hadn't a clue who she was. And she had she had a pierced cheeks and pierced, you know.
Yeah.
What's that all about? And I'm sure law enforcement, the law enforcement wouldn't allow her,
Yeah.
if she was a true cop, a real cop, to have these things pierced in the cheeks. I'm sure of that.
Doesn't look
Because
right, does it? Looks a bit
no,
weird.
it doesn't look right at all. So I thought that was phony as well. See, it's like things. Being a historian, if anything's wrong, and I've seen loads of things, I just won't watch it because they fictionalize. I know it's for dramatic purposes, but they've got to get the content right, especially historical things, especially that. Um, it's like Peaky Blinders, people are great Peaky Blinders, and I remember being up in Rodney Street here and walking along. I had a walk with my people, with my students. We went to the two cathedrals, and I said, we'll go down Rodney Street, show you where a few people live, the likes of Sarah Biffins and Gladstone and people like that. Um, anyway, we were walking down, and it was shut off because they were filming there. And what they were filming was Peaky Blinders. So I'm standing, and I looks over like that, and go, wow. And who I sees in the background, not filming, he was just standing there, was Sam Neill. Now, I like Sam Neill. I think he's a great actor. And I walked over to him, and I introduced myself. I said, hey, just shook hands with him. And I said, what's going on here? He said, Peaky Blinders, do you watch it? And I went, no. I said, no. And I'll tell you for why. And I'm not being, as I said, anything historical, that's fine. That's fine. If it's right, I'll watch anything. But if they get it wrong, I will not watch it. You might think that I'm too fussy on things.
No, you're joking, aren't you? You're a historian. I'm not a historian, Frank, and I'm like that. Bloody hell, Frank, I didn't even do my GCSEs. I'm like that. I'm one of the world's worst people for being like that. I sit here like if something's fake, I'm like,
Well, the thing is with Peaky Blinders is you see the gang walking down, and I'm like, right, gotta watch this. Now, this is supposedly 1920, 21. Yeah. So you see them walking down like that, the gang, and you see a black lad walking with them, and I went, oh yeah, good. And he had dread, he had dreadlocks right down to his hips, and I went, he's a Rasta. No way that dreadlocks and Rastafarians came out then in 1920, 21, whatever. No way in this country. And it was Haile Selassie in the 30s who brought Rastaism out, and the dreadlocks. So they weren't even. Just ridiculous. And I said, no, not watching this, not watching it. Because they've got it historically wrong. Not only that, it was like Gladiator. Now, Gladiator, I used to lecture about Commodus Marcus Aurelius. I used to lecture about that. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great emperors. And when I only seen a clip, like a trailer, and when I seen the clip and I seen this Maximus, there was a Maximus, by the way, there was a Maximus, but this particular Maximus was fiction. He was fictionalized, and I went, I'm not having this. For the story, it wasn't. To have a fictionalized character in the heart of a historical thing, very historical, especially about Commodus and Marcus Aurelius' dad. Commodus was the son of Marcus Aurelius. And I thought, no, not having this. There's no way I'm watching that. How can they fictionalize? Anyway, years later, I seen a former colleague of mine, also a lecturer, and Roman lecturer, by the way, and I seen him. And he said, have you seen that Gladiator? I went, no. We were just talking, about historical things. And I said, did you ever watch that? I said, no, never watched it. I said, I won't watch it simply because of Maximus and a fictional character playing, whoever he's playing, about Marcus Aurelius and Commodus' son. I said, there's no way I'll watch anything like that because they get it all wrong. And he said to me, this is genuine, this. He said, Frank, just watch it, please. Just watch it. And I said, no, I won't. He said, I was the same. He said, and my auntie, my uncle said, watch it, just watch it. Because he was a former lecturer as well. So anyway, I watched it, cut a long story short. And it was brilliant. But what they did, which I was against at the beginning, this fictionalized character, albeit that it was in the midst, and I'm talking about the epicenter, he was the main protagonist, to be honest, however way you want to say the word. Everything around him was proper history. Everything. From a fella who put them into, slavery and then into being gladiators. That was absolutely spot on. Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix, actually, brilliant. That was spot on. And Richard Harris played Marcus Aurelius, who was a great philosopher, a great character, great emperor, and that was spot on. So everything around this Maximus was true. That had no bearing on him, really, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was really good. So I watched it. And the opening scenes is the best opening scenes I've seen in any Roman film or anything, historical film like that. The best opening scene.
They are great, the opening scenes, aren't they? Fabulous.
Gladiator is absolutely exceptional. Let's
They
see
make
what.
it so epic in scale, don't they?
Oh, yeah. The only thing that got me about this was, I'll tell you what it was, and I did mention it, is the latest Napoleon with Joaquin Phoenix again. Against Joaquin, but Joaquin Phoenix plays Napoleon. And I looked and I went, no, he's miscast. That's the start of it. And like CGI, but it made him out. I don't know what that Ridley fella did. He made him out to look a wimp. And it was just based on his love affair, really. It was all about his love affair, if you know what I mean. I'm going, no, this is wrong. Napoleon had 60 battles. 60 battles he had, and there he is, like he's battling with this demons and this girl, And I thought, no, it's wrong. But then again, as I said, he was typecast because Napoleon, he was a young man, Napoleon. He was a young man, great leader, one of the greatest of all tacticians. And that was another bad one, really was.
I've never cared for Joaquin Phoenix as an actor, to be honest. I like Gladiator and I can bear him in that, but in most other films I can't bear him. I don't like his face. and I'm not really a fan of him as an actor. Something about him and not something about. He doesn't bother me in Gladiator, but in other films, like something about him annoys me. Like,
So yeah, annoying. It's funny how some
well, you get that with actors, don't you? You get that with particular actors that you just don't take to them from the off, do you? Like when you're watching them. It's just,
well, exactly, and you could leave or take, an actor. I don't like Jason Statham, and I mentioned him last week. I think he's dreadful. And his latest one, The Beekeeper, it's that bad that it's on YouTube now. Yeah, he just put it on YouTube. It's awful.
well, it sounds
Over the like him over the top. Anyway, let's go through some of these comments. Oh, my arm's killing me, my army left arm, it was killing me, right? And it's gone over to me right now. It's gone to me right. Jeez. Anyway, Dorothy Langham. I think it depends on cultural approbation, Frank. Difference in the USA. Yeah, I've written a play and it was supposed to go out, but COVID did. And it was historical. It was historical. And I had to bring in a couple of, God, blimey, this pain. It's horrible, it's a sickening pain that goes down my arm. Anyway, this particular play that I'd written, I had to bring in fictional characters. I had to. But the main protagonist is about a VC. Because there's nothing at all about other characters. Oh, God, blimey. Yeah.
Was it like a rheumatoid thing? Is it one of them? Like,
do you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is, Lee. I don't know well, you said about rheumatoid. Do you know when you text people, there's a certain tendon that's being used all the time, and it becomes strained, in your arm, right? So it's that, and it kills me. Even just picking up something really pains the pain up, shoots up. But also with my neck and my left hand side here, my neck, I've got another which is like a trapped nerve, which goes down my left arm. But that pain on my right
I know what you mean, yeah, about that tendon thing. I get something similar-ish, but probably on a lesser scale sometimes.
Yeah. It's just nuts. Really. Anyway, we'll go through these. You're just using this mouse to talk to the people. It is different, Dot, in America. It certainly is. They make loads of things up. Even in real news, they make things up. It's what you call misinformation and disinformation. So everything is geared off, the great American hype, as they say. Anyway, she carries on. I love Sam Neill, fine actor and a lovely person. Yes, he was great to me when I was talking to him. Brilliant in PB. What's PB?
Peaky Blinders.
Oh, Peaky Blinders, yeah. He gave a spine-chilling performance. Thank you,
what?
Joe.
I'm one of those people that get onto TV series late a lot of the times, when other people have been watching them for ages. And Peaky Blinders, another one, had been out. In fact, it'd been out for a long time before I watched it, but it's good, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Well, Red Bear says, Frank, I was told the Vikings had braids before the Rastas. Can you enlighten me? Braids. Well, to be honest, what the Vikings did, they used to look. How can I put this? Vikings, they were these Norsemen, when they went on, these trips, for example, You'd have Eric the Red. Eric the Red, I'll give you an example of Eric the Red. Eric the Red was banned from everywhere because he was a great leader. And in Norway, he killed someone, so they banned him. He banned him to England. So he came to England, where he was doing all this and that and the other. And he killed another one. And he was banned from England. So they sent him up to Iceland. So he was there and he was doing his usual things and, killed someone there. Then he was banned to Greenland. They said, "Oh, you're going to go west, mate. You're just going to go west. Get out of there. Get out of here." And he sailed and he reached, we call it Greenland now, and Nova Scotia and, places like that. That's where he reached. And this is where, and they reckon, and I believe it anyway, they reckon that he got to Canada, northern Canada,
Oh, that's
where
right.
Inuit lived, right?
Yeah.
And he brought back totems and
Mm.
arrowheads and things like that. He brought them back, and they're all in the museums now, in Scandinavia. And he was a great leader, but he's just going around getting exiled, killing people and whatever. Now, my point is, Redbird, is that when these lads went into battle, they didn't want flowing air into their eyes. They didn't want flowing air, so they used to have like what you do. I have to say a little girl, because they've got lovely long hair, haven't they? And when they go to school, the mothers always put a ribbon in their hair, tie it back, into a ponytail. And that's what they used to do. And yes, they did braid, but they only braided hair so that they had clear vision. They had clear vision. The Vikings, they had, when they were in battle or anything like that. And I'll tell you another thing as well, which is a bit when Caesar came here in 39 BC, he landed at Pevensey in Sussex, and he got and he seen all these mad Britons, savages, they're all standing there. And what they had, rather than what you're associated with the Vikings, this is long before the Vikings came, by the way, it was about 800 years before. You see them with helmets and horns. And they were our lads, they were the ancient Brits. No, I'm saying you see them, whereas, it wasn't the Vikings had them. We were just long hair. We used to run around with different woads on the cheeks of our bum to say, what tribe you were from, because there was little tribes all over the country. You had the Iceni, the Trinavati, the Durotrigas, the Regni. You had all these tribes, the Ordovices. You had loads of them, the Parisi. It was just nuts back in the day, because they're all warring factions, or they were warring factions against each other, and that's why they had to identify themselves.
They hated each other, didn't they?
Oh yeah. No, oh yeah, they certainly did, and they always used to battle with each other. One of the great queens, incidentally, they said it was Boudica. It wasn't Boudica. It was Cartamandua. Cartamandua belonged to the Brigantes, and the Brigantes were the most fiercest of all tribes, because it went from the lowlands of Scotland right down the spine of England, right down, just past Birmingham, and they were so powerful, so powerful. And Carter she wanted to trade. She wanted to trade with the Romans, whereas others didn't. Others didn't want to trade with the Romans, and because of that, she was married to a fella named Venutius. Now Venutius was, King Venutius. She was married to him, but he hated the Romans, so they split up. And have you ever heard of a fellow by the name of Caraticus? He was wanted dead or alive by the Romans.
No, I've not heard of him. No.
Because he was always at war with them. Caraticus. He used to go every time a tribe was beaten. He used to travel to another tribe, saying, "They're always coming. Let's have them." So, but anyway, but Cartamandua, you got to Cartamandua and the Brigantes. He said, "Listen, the Romans are coming." After escaping from another near miss, and he gets to Cartamandua, and what had happened? She went, "Oh yeah, and he come. Where are they?" He said, "Down the road there." She said, "Okay," and she locked him up. She put him in the thing with guards, and she handed him over to the Romans because she wanted to trade with them. You see,
no,
she wanted to trade. She said, they've got lots to offer, and look at us, the way we're living. So anyway. Now, what had happened to Caraticus? He was brought over to Rome, and he was paraded around because the Romans knew about this Caraticus back at Rome, you see, because of the communications getting back to Rome from Britain. Anyway, he was paraded around, and everyone was made up, cheering and everything. And they never killed him, They gave him, honestly, Caraticus, this big baddie who was wanted dead or alive, they gave him a villa and a pension. That's how good the Romans were, rather than the savages that.
Yeah. Interesting story, that one, nice. Interesting story.
Yeah, Caraticus, great man. Oh, Caraticus, I can't do this. I'm finished, There we are. Okay, John says, Nabs, Dabs, Frankie boy, your thoughts on Tolkien? In my opinion, one of the best to turn fine literature into top-notch on-screen films. Yes, absolutely brilliant, Tolkien. I remember doing them in college. Well, we had to be honest, we had to. I didn't in college, just seen a little bit. But you're right there, John. Tolkien for the screen, unbelievable. Lord of the Rings, unbelievable. I seen for the first time. I think this was done in the 70s. I think it was the 70s, or definitely early 80s, and it was an animation of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
it was stupid, wasn't it? Stupendous.
It's good. Give me a migraine. That though, we still lived in the Masonettes then, and it gave me this bad migraine. It's the worst one I've ever had, and I had to throw up and everything, and like sleep in a darkened room. It was the worst migraine I've ever had because the lights on it were so bright. We were watching it with the living room lights off. This animated Lord of the Rings, and I think it's when you get to a certain age that you get migraines. When you, I think it was about 12, 13. That age when you must be your head, your mind's changing or something like that. I think, innit? And you get migraines occasionally. Is the thing.
Yeah.
That's me link. Me link to the animated Lord of the Rings is to give me the worst migraine ever.
Well, as John says, Tolkien, in my opinion, one of the best to turn fine literature into top-notch on-screen films. Yes, totally agree with you there, John. Excellent, great comment.
The books are so beloved, aren't they? Like the Lord of the Rings books, as he says, are so beloved. And then the films are like equally as beloved, aren't they? Can't say
Yeah.
as much for the new ones coming out. People are already slagging them off before they're out, aren't they?
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's film fans for you. You know, even before films are out, people are saying they're loads of crap, like, but that people are expectant, aren't they, and hopeful over films, especially when they carry, when they're part of a franchise and they carry weight. Like people get all. I used to do. I now no, I don't know more, but I used to when there was a new when something was due out, part of a franchise. I'd get not worked. I never got like excited like some people do, counting down days and all of that daftness. But I would get like excited. I'd go after. I'd say that much. Like they'd get excited and that.
Yeah. Well, Gary Rigby. Morning, Frank and Lee. It's Nicholas Cage I can't stand.
Morning, Gary.
Morning, Gary. And he's made some. He got an Oscar, didn't he? For leaving Las Vegas or whatever it was called.
Mm.
So he got an Oscar for that. But he's in a smashing film, which I think is great, by the way. Great storyline, absolutely brilliant. It's called Knowing. Did you watch Knowing, Lee?
I've seen it before, so we can go on from. Go
Okay,
on.
no, don't mention it yet because I want to go through these if you don't mind, because we
Yeah,
will talk.
sound. Yeah,
I'm
sound.
waiting for JK. Don't know where he is. He said, I'm running late.
Late to the party.
Yeah, late to the party. I'm going to sack him. I'm going to sack him.
Yeah, I did see now and quite recently actually, so I'm good with the knowledge from that, and I did enjoy that. Yeah, it's a strange one that I enjoyed.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it. Just let's go through these, please, Lee. And it's Redbird, BBC appropriation turned Cleopatra black, awaiting for the next white Medela. But of course, that won't happen. It's a one-way street turning white historical black, people black. Falsehood and equality is lies. That's a very, very powerful comment. But I'm afraid you're right. I'm afraid you're right. My granddaughter, Sophia, she loves history. She must take after me, but she loves history. She loves the Romans, believe it or not. And anyway, she watched. She was just sitting there, and he must have been watching BBC Two or something. And it said something about Anne Boleyn, and she asked who Anne Boleyn was. Now, Anne Boleyn, her mother said, "Oh, one of Henry VIII's wives," and she said, "Can I watch it?" And she said, "Of course." So they put it on, Anne Boleyn. And it's only what Gary said, what Redbird said. They made her black. And she, Sophia said, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And that's a child. That's a child. Now she thinks, her mother never said anything. She thinks that Anne Boleyn is a black queen. Do you see what I mean? See how they can change?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry to go on about today, people. I really do. I really am. You've got a narrative, and it's only what I'm trying to say, and it's only what Redbird's trying to say as well. And you agree with this, Lee. You've got the narrative today of what's going on and the hatred shown by America towards Russia because they hate Russia. America hate Russia. They just hate them, no matter what. No matter if you're a Russian, they hate you. It's as simple as that. Hate any leaders, whatever. Now they're changing the narrative. I always remember when Obama became president, and he's standing there during his inauguration, and he said, "And we won the wars." And I looked and I went, "Is he having a laugh?" But every American president says it. That's a false narrative. They didn't win the war. They didn't win the war. They really believe that they won the two wars, by the way. The two wars. Now, let's go back to the Second World War. 1/3 of the German army fought the Allies. 1/3. And they held them back for a year. Because, as you know, we were trying to get to Berlin. The Allies were trying to get to Berlin before the Russians, before not the Russians, the Soviets, before them. The Russians or the Soviets were fighting 2/3 of the might of Germany. 2/3 of the Germans. And they got to Berlin first. So what does that tell you, Lee? It tells you that if 2/3 of the German army were fighting the Allies, they'd still be in Normandy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They'd still be there. And they're changing the narrative that, the Russians, no, they didn't fight. They never won the war. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it proves...
When you look at the body count, I mean, the body count was nothing really for America, was it? And it was nothing really for us compared to Russia.
For Russia, no. But what you've got now, that Trudeau of Canada has refused to hand over that hunker who they gave a standing ovation to in the Canadian Parliament a couple of months ago. And he was a Nazi. Is a Nazi supposed to be going war crimes?
What, you mean a real living Nazi from years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all gave him a standing ovation a couple of months ago in the Canadian. And Trudeau came out with a bloody lie. A lie. And says I knew nothing about him being like that, but he was found out in it the other week that he lied. He didn't know. And he had the leader of the House, their House of Parliament, fall on the sword. So pathetic. It's so pathetic that it's really annoying that a Nazi gets a standing ovation.
It's awful, that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
But do you know what he said? The Russians wanted him. The Russians wanted, because he was fighting the Russians, he was killing Russians. They wanted him. The Nazis were executionists. They weren't like ordinary soldiers, shooting at each other. They were executionists, like that Bandera of Ukraine. Executionists. They just rounded up people and shot them. He shot over 400,000 Jews in. And he's a big, he's a big hero for Ukraine. You couldn't make it up. Couldn't make it up, honestly. Anyway, I've got JK here. Shall we bring him in or shall we leave him for being cheeky?
Oh, it's up to you, Frank.
Oh, stop it. God, but it's humour, Lee. It's humour. Anyway, I've got here he is. Hey, JK.
Hey, bro. Hi, Lee. I thought Lee would say, you got to bring him on.
See the way he says? He never went, so you've got to bring him on,
Yeah.
It's up to you.
It's all right.
It's up to you.
Cool. Hope you guys all right.
You couldn't make it up for Lee. Anyway, let me go through these, lads. And John says, Gary Rigby, have you seen Leaving Las Vegas with Cage in it? He plays a proper drunk, not a bad film. Brilliant film.
I loved that film. I thought it was really good. It's poignant, like, I mean, it's his own fault and all that one, but yeah, it is a sad film, like, it's quite affecting.
And he replies by saying, I've never seen it. I want to get on to it. Just let me go through these because they're lovely people, you know what I mean, and they deserve to be. Well done, Dorothy, because I forgot to mention, you know, because Lee's input, I forgot to mention Rod Steigers. That was brilliant. And as Lee said before, you know, when you see all the extras and everything else, that was absolutely brilliant. Rod Steiger's portrait of Napoleon, and he looked like Napoleon, if you know what I mean. The weight and everything else.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he did. He had the whole thing. I watched that about 10 months. It wasn't quite a year ago, about 10 months ago. I think I watched that one with Rod Steiger. It was just on. I didn't plan to watch it. It just happened to be on.
Well, Dorothy says, I thought Rod Steiger was very good as Napoleon Frank. Remember watching Waterloo on the big screen back in the day, school trip studying for O-level history. Christopher Plummer, brilliant actor. Another immense actor played the Duke of Welly. Yes, he did. And it was one of the best takes on Napoleon. It was Waterloo. Fantastic. A little bit of it, you know, there was just a little bit of it. I'm sorry about this, people. It's print. Oh no, it's King Charles now. He's looking in, and he says, "Where's J.K.? Oh, there he is. That's what he's come out and said. And why hasn't Lee got a smile on his face?" Says King Charles the Third.
Because the JK wasn't there.
No, you he said, "Oh, there he is." Yeah, you know, because
now he's smiling. Now he's smiling.
Yeah. You know. Okay, so let's yeah. Boudica, Queen of the Iceni. Yes. And her husband was a fella named Placitargus. And when he died, that was the end of Boudica, you know, to be honest. I could tell you all about it, actually, but I won't. I'll just bore you. So, anyway, okay, JK.
Mm-hmm.
JK. Someone came on and said, I don't like that Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay.
Don't like him, he said. So I said, oh, okay. And even you know, people have said, you know, I've watched Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas or whatever. He got an Oscar and he was and the film's okay. It was a very good film, actually. Now, I asked you to watch Knowing, and I also actually, did you watch it by any chance? Did you catch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. Now, what? Sorry, I was just going to ask you. What did you think of it overall?
I actually liked it. When I think it's an interesting film. They could have gone deeper, I think, in the topics and stuff. But all in all, I was sort of I like Nicolas Cage. I wouldn't say he's my favorite actor, but I realize with his films, it's easy to concentrate on. He's one of them type of actors, not too much fluster. He's just who he is, you know, and that's what I like about him. So I can watch his films, no problem. But I think the film was a bit spooky, kind of. When you look at the real world we live in, it's a bigger picture of that film. It's like when you look at everything in the world, and like you can believe in coincidences, you can believe in it's planned, whatever it is. But it's just certain topics in the film made me think, oh, okay, you know. So, but a good film. The power of the mind as well is involved in that film as well. How you see life and stuff, you know, and how you connect.
Great synopsis there. Great review that, because you're so right. And it makes you think, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think, especially with what's going on in the world today. And very clever. It was
Yeah.
very clever.
It was sort of slow at the start and stuff, and there wasn't a lot of characters. I like a film where there's not too many characters in, because it ruins it, I think. But when there's only a few characters and they can pull a good film out, it
Pull
makes
us
the
off.
film even better. Yeah,
But it was a
and that's
very
what I
good,
liked about the film. Yeah.
yeah, but it was a very good cast. I like Ben Mendelsohn, who plays Zoppo in it, the physicist
Mm-hmm.
in
Oh
the
yeah,
film.
yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very good. And
Mm-hmm.
the storyline was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It was powerful. And it's all about predictions, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's all about predictions. Remember the Mayan calendar,
Mm-hmm.
where it said the world's going to end
Yeah.
in 2012? Well, they reckon they got it wrong. So they made films and everything out of it, like 2012, the film, which was absolute. John Cusack, favorite actor of mine, one of my favorite actors, and but the ending was absolutely dreadful, for certain reasons. But the film was good. The special effects, unbelievable. It was really good. Have you seen 2012, JK? And
No,
you,
I've
Lee?
heard of it. I've heard of it. I haven't watched it yet. No, I can check that. No problem.
No, check it. Have you seen it, Lee?
No, I don't know it. No, what is it about?
It's a prediction. It's not a yeah, well, it's a prediction. The Mayan calendar said that it was made in 2009, because the Mayan calendar said that it was going to end. The world was going to end in 2012.
Yeah.
Right? So he made a film, and it's really good. The special effects are absolutely brilliant. John Cusack is unbelievable in it. He's a great actor. He really is. But they got this Russian fella, proper Russian, and he plays in it as well. And you know, what I've just turned around and said, like, they hate the Russians, America hate the Russians. Have a look at this. And this is made in 2009. As I said, there's a Russian in it. Oh, just have a look at it. It's really good. It really is good. And as I said about the CGI, the special effects, absolutely brilliant. So if you want, just have a look at that, and we can review that in the next few weeks. But getting back to knowing, they said that, no, 2012, they said that they got it wrong. And it's not 2012 that the world's going to end. Get on to this. Do you know when it is? 2024.
Uh-huh.
The way things are going, it could easily end. It could easily end, if you know what I
It's like
mean.
they've all got a direct connection to God. God, when's it going to happen? He's
Yeah,
like, it's going to be
yeah.
then. But but I always say that a lot of things that happen in the world are man-made, certain disasters and stuff like that. So you have to go with
Yeah.
what you think
Right.
yourself, because like
Yeah,
humans love to play with that game. Oh, this is going to happen, or this. You want to get these guys down the bookies. You know what I mean?
yes.
It'll be worth more. Yeah.
But we were talking about what Redbird said. I'm just going to go back, because even Dorothy's commented as well. I think it's an excellent comment. But I can't plan. Why doesn't that move for me? Never moves. Never bloody moves. Yeah, Redbird. Now let me go through these, JK. Then I'll get
Mhm.
right to you and Lee. BBC appropriation turns Cleopatra black. I'm waiting for the next white Mandela. Of course, that won't happen. It's a one-way street, turning white historical people black. Falsehood and equality is lies. That's a powerful,
If I'm
really.
honest about that type of stuff, it used to get on my nerves a bit, but now if they're going to change things around, they're going to change things around and change historical characters around. And if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. So it's barely worth even getting irritated by it anymore. It's just like, oh,
Okay, well, that's what I just want. As I said, Lee, you know, wanted to just let me finish this comment as well by Dorothy. I think it's powerful. It's only going along with what Redbird has said. Misalignment of fact, Frank. Don't believe they've had a white actor play Martin Luther King, although it might have happened in the theatre. I don't think it has. I don't think it has. I'm being honest with you there. Uh, you know, Martin Luther King was, you know, he was a great man, Martin Luther King. I think more so as well than Mandela, to be honest, because he lived his life of peace and everything else. And, you know, he got, he never got the recognition that Mandela got, you know, albeit that he's well known because he did, you know, civil rights. He went on peace marches. Even the whites joined him as well. Even the whites joined him. But they had to get rid of him. The deep state. They had to get rid of him. And they blamed that James Earl Ray, didn't he? It says James. No, that's an actor, isn't it? What was his name? Earl.
it's one of those type of names, isn't it?
Yeah, well, anyway, they blamed him, and he says, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Yeah,
Yep.
look, it's really good, actually. Redbird says, they are and have been for some time pumping lies into the youth who grow up believing them. History today is not history, it's a false narrative. That's a powerful. What would you say to that, JK? Would you think that history today is not history, it's a false narrative?
Yeah, I think it's like when you've made so much money and you've bought everything, you've had eaten everything, you've seen everything, you get to the next phase of your brain concept, and that is to take over people. So when you've looked at Hollywood and films since like we were all kids, it's just to influence you into having a mindset, you know. That's the goal in all these films. Like for me, film is art. It's not a political agenda, you know, and I think a lot of films are like even TV adverts will use a lot of multicultural type of people in the adverts. And I'm thinking, why did they do this when they started television? You know, why now? Because it's all joined up with that. Yeah, we're seeing people of the different races together on the TV, but realistically, these people won't connect. I think football is the one thing that connects people. It's true. Football is a true game, and it connects people from the US, London, Liverpool, India, wherever it is. And I think real film lovers are getting sort of irritated with the political agendas that they're bringing to films nowadays, and even in the music scene. I love music more than anything, and when I've looked at the music topic, I've always realised they're always trying to push some sort of mindset to you. Like, you just want to hear the song, you know, and they'll put this in the video, they might do this, a news story about the guy who made the song. So, all in all, it's true what Redbird's saying. The youth have not got a good influence on them, you know. Everything's influenced by money, culture, living a wild life. Oh, you're great because you're slept with 1,000 women in 1 year, sort of scenario of life, you know, them sort of things. And that's the youth now, Frank. I actually feel sorry for them, and it's the parents' jobs to look after the kids, you know, to tell them what's right and wrong about history. And at school, the amount of lies were told to us in history, for example, amazing, bro. Because you realise now it was all lies if you really study
Well,
history. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a very good comment. Well, it is an excellent comment, to be honest. You get a gold star off Frank there for that.
Nice one, bro.
The thing is, I was saying about my little granddaughter, and she really believes that Anne Boleyn, you know, the wife of Henry VIII is black because they put a series on about Anne Boleyn, and they had a black girl playing Anne Boleyn, and that's the way they can, like, change the narrative. It's like when I mentioned as well about the Soviets. According to America, they've won all the wars, and yet they couldn't even defeat lads in a jungle with flip-flops on, who had no army, no navy, no air force, and they were the Vietnamese. And other lads who went to war on a bike with a rifle over the back, and again in sandals on bikes, and they were the Afghans. It's unbelievable. Yet they're winning wars. It's a joke.
But it all boils down to the divide and conquer format. In anything you look at, football.
Yeah.
We all love football. It's all divide and conquer, bro. And I think unity is last thing on their agenda. Getting people united and having the sort of same mindset and stuff. Film and music and sports is a big tool for these guys to use against us in a certain way. It's mad. It's mad.
Well, Dorothy says director Michael Oatman, who is black and a double cast for the role of King. That's Dr. Martin Luther King. That is, she's talking about, with a black actor and a white actor for a 6-performance run at the University Department of Pan-African Studies, African Community Theatre, on the 25th of October. The white actor was Robert Branch. The actor playing King stood there, hands outstretched, the skin far from chocolate, but a creamy buff. At first glance, I was like, maybe he's light-skinned. Don't punish the brother for being able to pass. But further, I don't know what, but further J, I don't know what she's going on there. J. And the playwright Katari Hall comments above. The playwright Katari Hall comments above. Well, I don't know. I've never known that. If a white fella played, maybe if it was studies, because of, I don't know. I just don't know. If I'd be annoyed if I was in relation to Martin Luther King. I had a white man playing me. Playing like my brother or my uncle, or even if you're a black activist playing a white person playing a black great man like Martin Luther King. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, by the way.
I just feel that guys like this, King and stuff, and I think they're there for 20 minutes and they're gone. And you've seen throughout history, people come in, do a little thing, and they're gone then, Tupac, Biggie, they've all had their sort of time on stage, and boom, they're all disappear, and I think it's a lot to do with getting a message across to the people, a lot of these guys throughout history. And that's why the message don't carry on of being united, because these people come and go.
Yeah. You see, it's like Gandhi. Now, Ben Kingsley played Gandhi, and there was no one better to play Gandhi. Now, just imagine if Danny Dyer played Gandhi.
with a Cockney accent.
Yeah, exactly. Or Ray Winston. Hey, what's going on, Dean?
Yeah.
It's not appropriate, is it? But you might as well have them playing these people. You might as well have them, if you know what I mean. If they're trying to change the narrative, if they're trying to change historical figures, and don't be surprised, like in a few years' time, you will see. It's like James Bond. It's like James Bond. Now, James Bond, to the contrary of what you believe, James Bond is based on a real life character. He was in intelligence, and he used to go over to France, and he was very flamboyant and charismatic, and he could speak several languages. And they say, "Oh no, he wasn't a real life character." And he was. He was. Now imagine. I think our best black actor today is Idris Elba. I think he's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
In anything. But would you see him playing James Bond? To be honest, I think he's too old now.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
I think he's not, for me, he's not my favourite actor. I haven't really watched a lot of stuff with the guy, but his image portrays he can be James Bond. But I'm 100%, not 100% sure, I'm sure that James Bond's story was a guy from the Caribbean who was a book author, and he used to write about birds. And he's the one who started the James Bond thing. I'm not 100% if it's true, but that's what I heard. But he was into writing books about birds, this guy. And he started the James Bond sort of story as well.
Do you mean Ian Fleming?
I'm not sure, bro. But I know Ian Fleming.
Ian Fleming wrote the James Bond books. He wrote them. You see, it's like anything else. If you're trying to change the narrative of things, could you imagine? I'm not being funny when I say this. Could you imagine someone playing Lee? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine like Brad Pitt with an American accent playing Lee?
You probably get over it.
I know Lee looks like Brad Pitt, but could you imagine him the real? You can't, because it'd have to be a Scouser. It'd have to be someone who resembles Lee. Do you see what I mean? I know it sounds daft.
Yeah, you have to have people that look like the people, don't you? To it, like, what was that one? Bloody done me. I never seen it, but it was J. Edgar Hoover, but it was like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Another miscast.
He looks like so little like J. Edgar Hoover. It's like hilarious. But why is he playing him? I know they put all makeup on him to make him look hideous, but they couldn't make him look hideous enough to be J. Edgar Hoover. He's Leonardo DiCaprio. What was that about?
He's a miscast again.
Yeah,
absolutely miscast. Yeah,
that was so weird. That was so weird.
You go, what? It's just like Joaquin Phoenix.
Edgar Hoover, he was hideous, wasn't he? He really was hideous to look at. When you seen him, you were like, oh my God. But, so getting Leonardo DiCaprio to play him, it's like, that's weird.
No, it's right, because there are terrible miscasts. We were talking there before, JK, about a series we were told to watch. Everyone, get onto it. It's great. It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. Oh, brilliant. And it's called True Detective. And I was talking to Francine, and I said, Francine, have you seen it? She said, yeah, it's good, Dad, She said, there's 4 seasons that they're in the 4th. I said, I'm not going to go back to the first one. And she said, no, you don't need to, Dad. You can watch any episode from any season. So I said, okay. So I went on to the 4th season, the latest one. And I went to the first episode. And I was saying to Lee about it, and I said I had to turn it off because I didn't want to get into the realms of sounds and misogynist or sexist. And one of the actors was absolutely dreadful. And I'm sitting there looking at her going, she couldn't act a goat here. And again, You know, the girl who played the detective, she had, well, a cop. She had these, you know, do you know when you get pierced and you have finger in your tongue and, you know, around your eyes and whatever? She had them in her cheeks here, two pierced things in her cheeks and in her ears. And I went, no, that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't allow, law enforcement wouldn't allow her to be walking around like that. You're a law enforcement person, if you know what I mean. And they wouldn't allow that. They wouldn't
Yeah,
allow
I'm
it.
pretty sure that they
Especially
don't.
on the face, on the cheeks. You know what I mean? Because it's like a tattoo, if you know what I mean. It's another form of a tattoo, it's this piercing. And just imagine having like tattoos on your face. They wouldn't allow it. So, and she was a bad actor as well. And Dorothy said that she watched her this morning. On this morning, I don't watch that nonsense. And she says she's had three acting credits to her thing, and that proved what I was saying, that she was a bad actor. But the series, I had to turn it off because I thought it was dreadful. And have you ever seen anything like that, JK?
Not really, bro. I think, as you say, the actor has to fit the role and the image of the film that you want to portray. A lot of films have been ruined by picking the wrong person. You know, like which police? I've never seen a police officer with piercings and tattoos and stuff. Really, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. See, and it's funny, you know, you're saying that as well. And you know do you know when you see TV series of cops, you know, cops and that, and they're all slim, aren't they? And all good looking with nice hair and everything about them. They're all great. But when you watch the reality of TV, not of reality of cops, you know, I stream a hell of a lot. I stream, uh, you know, lots of murders, what's going on, you know, what's going on, serial killers and everything. And when you see the real life cops, they're all obese. They're all obese.
Yeah.
They must sit in the cars eating hamburgers and, you
Coffee.
know, those donuts. They just sit there and
Yeah,
they're obese. And I said to myself, what fella was trying to run after this lad who had a gun? And the lad just ran. And
just
you should have seen the state of that because he had his cam on. And I went, oh, what's this?
yeah.
You know, I don't think if he would have had his, if his cam wouldn't have been on, I'm sure he would have just shot that fella. You know, he never
Yeah,
caught, he
but
got away, by the way.
what it is though, Frank, I feel that they have to get people on board to become a policeman and a policewoman. They have to
Yeah,
portray it. It's like it's a great life, you know, good looking. You're walking around with your chest out and blah blah blah. So people think, oh, I want to be one of them as well. So when they get to the work 50 years down the line, I think, God, why did I do that? And it's the same with war. You know, they make some wars like, oh, patriotic. You're doing it for your country. Realistically, you're just doing it for the rich people. Same as the police. They just like security for the rich people. So it's all comical. I would say it's comical.
but to be honest, like you know, if I was a cop, if I was a cop, I think I'd end up, you know, especially an American cop, I'd end up like because to me they're just sitting there in the cars eating donuts and hamburgers and things like that, you know. But they are. It's so funny. Have a look at real life cops and you see the way. One particular one, they went to this house, not half funny, dangerous but funny, right? And you know where you get the portrait of or the portrayal of a cop, you know, an American cop, and they're going to, and they're all going in with guns like this and going, you know, doing all this, go everywhere, you know, with the guns and into different rooms and the torches. You know, they got the torch and they're like this.
Mhm.
Well, That's a load of bollocks because what has happened? Well, they get to this house, two cop cars, and you see, and as I said, they are obese. One fellow was obese, and you see him going in, right? Three of them going in the door, the front door, going in, and the next you hear bang bang, and they all come running out. Get behind the cars, they're all like that. And I went, so behave. Why didn't he go in like this? Like what you see on the telly. Anyway, that's me. Do you think I'm having a go at the Americans? I'm really not, Yes, I am. Anyway.
Do it.
You know, them talk shows they have in the US as well, like, and in England, like This Morning and stuff. When you really look at them, it's like, for me, they're cringy. It's like humans just agreeing with someone who's probably talking a lot of nonsense, and there are crowds there all cheering and going, yeah. And it's like America has the same sort of thing as well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dorothy says, we were talking about that girl, with things in her face, things, these pierced things. I suspect it would depend on what department you work for, Frank. For example, undercover, etc. They would have, if they were infiltrating, no, she was going around with a cop's uniform, so she wasn't undercover. She wasn't undercover. And she was seeing people who she knew, so she wasn't undercover at all. She was just an ordinary cop doing a daily business in somewhere in Alaska. So that's it, Dorothy. She wasn't undercover at all. You know what I mean? See, the likes of JK and Lee and myself, we're undercover. We're pretending to be TV and film reviewers, whereas we're talking about them. But anyway, getting back to that. JK, have you watched anything recently besides Knowing?
Just like Australian crime dramas and stuff like that. What's that channel called? There's a channel on YouTube where they show you documentaries about Australia and the history of Australia and stuff like that, and the people who've moved over there and what they've been up to. And I'm thinking, God, they're pretty crazy over there. They were. But you would never think that Australia, like Neighbours and Home and Away. Remember Neighbours? G'day.
Yeah.
Paul Daniels, like they're all sort of nice people, But when you really look at it, it's pretty terrible over there in history.
It's quite rough, is it? It's quite rough where you see, is it?
Yeah, but in the 60s, 70s, 80s, I think Australia went through a bit of a wild time. And that's when like Neighbours and Home and Away sort of came in to portray Australia as a nice and friendly country, and it probably is, But it was just too funny. But did you ever watch Neighbours and Home and Away, Frank? Ramsey Street.
I'm sorry, no. I've seen a couple of episodes and I thought it was so phony. All these smiles and everything, and at the end of an episode, someone will go, turn nasty or something like that, so you can't wait for the next episode to say, why is he turned or she has turned nasty? Oh, hang on a minute, they carrying on with each other. I thought, so phony. And I've never, soaps, I'm sorry, I don't watch soaps because it's not real life, and they try to portray real life in these particular soaps. I always remember Liverpool. Hang on, what was it? I always remember Liverpool winning the European Cup. What was it? I don't know what European Cup it was. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a European Cup. I'll tell you what it was. It was the riots. And I had to sat through excruciating pain. About 3 weeks of Coronation Street and that bloody EastEnders. I'm sitting there, watching this garbage. And the point I'm making is that it's supposed to be about real life people. And there was no mention at all of riots throughout the country, not just Liverpool, obviously. There was no mention about it. There was no mention about, what was it? Something. Oh, the miners' strike. There's no mention about that. There's no mention about anything. And that's going like from 81 to 84. There was no mention about the Falkland Islands either. You know, when we sent an armada down to fight Galtieri's army, Argentinian army, there was no mention. So to me, that's not real life. That's not real life. Only you see, Curly, what's going on for a loaf. That's about it. Going in the corner shop. Good day, yeah, okay, shut up. Yeah, I don't like anything like that. Soaps are phony.
Yeah, I think soap operas all over the world, they all follow the same philosophy of what they're trying to push. Like I've seen a few soap operas from around the world. They all got that same sort of mentality. Like they're secluded from the rest of the world. Huh?
With all these white smiles, you know, big white teeth and nicely, it's not real life.
Yeah, like you were saying, Frank, that they never talk about the miners' strikes and the riots. It's like they live in their own separate world. It's like they don't live with us, but that happens in their world. Is what happens, but happens in our world don't happen in their world. It's crazy.
But isn't it a nice world to live in? To be honest, because you're away from all this.
Yeah.
But again, it's supposed to be about real life, and it's not about real life at all. You know, obviously they have real life things that getting divorced and things like that, people splitting up and carrying on and whatever. If you know what I mean. But in a tiny little street like the likes of that EastEnders and the likes of that Coronation Street, Neverdale Farm, if anyone's carrying on, they carry on for ages and ages and ages, and no one finds out. It finds out that the next day it's that small. It's because they all know one another and whatever. Mm-hmm. It's so blatantly phony.
But soap operas, they'll get together in the Queen Vic at Christmas time and Happy New Year and stuff. But throughout the rest of the 363 or 4 days, it's all divided. It's like, how can we split these guys, not talking to them guys? It's never like bringing unity together. That's what I say about soap operas. They're very disturbing in that way, where they don't unite the people. It's always, how can we find reasons or subjects to find out how we can separate Dave not talking to John, or the shop owner not talking to the guy from down. It's always that. And that's why I believe soap operas are very, if you haven't got your head screwed on it, they could be dangerous for your mind.
Yes. It is. It's like anything. It's I tell you, I watched a film, forget what it was called, and again, it's like changing the narrative. And the British during the Second World War captured the Enigma machine. They captured it, and they brought it to Bletchley Park. And they were trying to, like Turing, he was trying to work out Turing. I'm sorry. He was trying to work out the codes of the Germans, and if you could imagine what was going through his mind and how he was trying to work it out. However, the film made by America was that they captured the Enigma machine. And I went, why are these two? And I'm going back to the 80s.
I remember that.
Do you remember that, Lee? What did you think of it? That
was ludicrous, wasn't it? I was really pissed off about that film when they made that. I was like, what? The Enigma machine behaviour? I mean, everyone knew that story. Everyone knew it, so everyone knew it was fake when they pretended they got it. Why did they do that?
Do you know what I put it that over, Lee? Because someone, I forget who it was, just said to me, what does it matter? I said, it matters a great deal. If they allow that to go global, and then, if you decided to take, you're a young lad watching it, say like 11 or 12, or a young girl for that matter as well. And if you want to take up history as options, which people do, now they believe that the Enigma machine was captured by the Americans because they seen it on film, and that particular film doesn't lie, because people believe in films what they actually see. They actually see. I'll give you an example that never ever comes out on anything. We were talking about Napoleon before, weren't we? Napoleon was a very, very clever man, and he wanted to look after his troops like any other one, look after the troops. And he didn't want his soldiers foraging. He didn't want them going around foraging for foods because they were on the march, going miles, thousands of miles, whatever. And he didn't want them foraging for food. So what he invented the tin can that preserved food. That never ever gets mentioned. Ever gets mentioned. And the flap on the back of the neck on the hats to keep the sun off the neck, so that he wouldn't faint or burn or be uncomfortable. Like you see it with the Foreign Legion, don't you? He also invented the buttons on the sleeve. Why did he put them on the sleeve? Any idea? Shall I tell you? Because he was fed up. Genuine, it's not a joke or anything. He was fed up with his soldiers going like that. Because the deposits were left on the sleeve, you see. And he said, that's disgusting. They're wearing the uniform of the French army. And I don't want it stained. So we decided to put buttons on the sleeve so they wouldn't do that. So now you know. You gonna sleep, Lee? Yeah, I'm bored late today.
No, what it is like, yeah, slightly side like. But...
So that's what he did, JK.
Mm-hmm.
Invented and do you know what else he invented, by the way? Not invented, but you know what else he brought into the warfare?
Mm-hmm.
Shall I tell you?
Well, then.
Trenches.
Okay.
Trenches.
Trenches.
Trench warfare.
Trenches, yeah, trench warfare. Okay. Oh, yeah, you told me that before, that he invented trenches, Napoleon, yeah. It's a good one.
Just one of the great men. He's one of my military heroes, One of my, I'll tell you who else, Montgomery. Montgomery is an incredible person, Monty. Absolutely wonderful. And Marshal Zhukov. Do you know who Marshal Zhukov was? Well, he led the Soviets. He led the Soviets to Berlin. Marshal Zhukov. The other is Vespasian, the Roman Emperor. Unbelievable man. Unbelievable emperor. And Marcus Aurelius, another great man. Some great men, people say about Alexander the Great as well. Yeah, unbelievable. These are great tactical geniuses in modern warfare. Well, modern warfare then, if you know what I mean. But no one could ever beat the Roman Empire. for what they did. And they give us the fountain. Do you think, JK, and you, Lee, you're listening, Lee, do you think that myself, JK, and you could just get together and we can make a fountain with water spouting up from it?
Should imagine so, yeah. I don't think it'd be that hard, was it? Find a spring or something.
JK, do you think we could get together and make a fountain with water spouting from it?
I think we can take over Klopp when he leaves. Us three will take over the club. No problem. The fountain's a piece of cake. Give me the tools. Give me the tools. I'll do it. I'll get it done. I'm pretty cool at that.
Exactly, that's a crack of that, because I was going to say, could you do it 2,000 years ago? No. You might be able to do it now by tapping into water and pipes and everything, but you wouldn't be able to do it 2,000 years ago. This is like the culture of the Romans, absolutely geniuses, from engineering to science to everything. Great writers as well, because I had to read up all on like Suetonius and Tacitus and Dio and Cicero and all these all these wonderful great writers of the Roman period. So it's just amazing that look. Like Dorothy, we were talking about the two cheeks, Pierce, and she says maybe that's how it goes down in Alaska, Frank. Maybe so, Dorothy.
Yeah, but when you've watched films, you've always seen a character out of the blue pop up with piercings and they're undercover. Like, I can understand where she was coming from there. Like, you've seen loads of films and it's like all of a sudden in a nightclub there's this like guy and a girl and you're like, wow, okay. Yeah, it's like that. So they'll have tattoos and they'll have like punk style hair, but you'll never think they're the police,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not real, exactly. But Ali, our Romanian friends, he says, imagine my country, Romania, won 2 fights against the Roman Empire in the year 101.
Very specific year, Ali.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, you see, the Romans, did you know that they named that land where Ali lives Romania?
Mm-hmm.
They
Put an
named
IA
it.
at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they named us. It's like they named us Britannia, because it's all Latin, isn't it? And do you know what the English Channel was named? Shall I tell you? Yes. Okay. And it's only what it's named today. Oceanus Britannicus. They could have said Oceanus, Gaul. So we would have been crossing the French Channel instead of the English Channel. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean?
But they always change the names at the end of the day, don't they? Like, I think India wants to change its name and stuff like that. So, but it's like when you look at the whole.
Burma. Yeah, look at Burma, Maya now. Mm-hmm. They've changed the name. Well, Bombay changed the name, didn't it?
Yeah.
Bombay, so they do change. Like Liverpool's changing its name in 2035. Did you know that?
To what?
Carlson City.
That's got a nice little bell to it, though. It is. It sounds good.
Isn't there a Carson City in America?
Yes.
City, yeah.
Where the Cowboys, like Carson City was really where the stagecoaches went. Carson City,
Yeah,
if you know
because
what I
you hear
mean.
that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you do actually. You do. It's good though, isn't it? You know, it's good when you can associate anything like that. And look at the names: Deadwood City. Hang on a minute. And where are you going to live? I'm going to Deadwood City. I'm relocating to Deadwood City. And you know, another fella will go like that. I'm bringing my family to Dodge City. Dodge City. Why is it called Dodge City? You dodged the bullet. Oh, yeah. Some of the mad names. Some of the mad names that go there. I was on a pod once, you know, one of these historical things, and I said, "Greetings, everybody from Liverpool, UK." And then there was a few coming on and said, "There's a Liverpool in the States. There's a Liverpool in Australia. Get out there, pardon me." But you know, so they were, you know, coming out Liverpool because when we went to places, we actually named, you know, these wonderful things. And one of the greatest monuments in India, shall I tell you what it is? JK will be listening here. Oh, what's he going to say there? And one of the greatest monuments that you associate India with is the arch. You know the arch, JK, in India.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. Shall I tell you for why, Lee?
Go on.
Right? Because it was the fella who designed that, Sir Edwin Lutyens, who designed the original Catholic cathedral here in the city. And he was a great architect. And he wanted, you know, there's obviously, you know, got the Taj Mahal and all that, you know, that goes without saying, you know, these wonderful, brilliant structures that is in India. Even the temples are unbelievable temples. I'm not taking anything away, but what he designed was an arch, and it was Indian. It was India, just says India. Nothing else says. Even here, you know, you've got like "Welcome to Liverpool," you know, signs like that, but you don't have a sign like the arch in India that says India. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really do. That's why I like different cultures. They're learning about these cultures and cuisines. And I can't understand why people go away. Am I right here? They go away, they go on holiday for a couple of weeks or whatever, and they get up, they go out to get their breakfast. And where they head to is a cafe that sells English breakfast. These are the same people who get up and have a bowl of Kellogg's or a round of toast. They don't have an English breakfast. So why do they do that? Why don't they have, even when they go out of an evening, they'd rather have fish and chips. Anything
It's home
fit.
comforts, Frank.
Sorry?
Home comforts. I
Well,
think,
yeah, why don't you try other people's
yeah,
cuisine?
you got to do that.
That's
100%.
all I'm saying. You know, try other people's cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the country that you're in, at least. But they don't. They just.
It's like that's the many reasons why I've been to Italy before, because of the food. When you're young, you start eating pasta and making tomato sauces for 7-8 hours. You know, you have to go to Italy. Yeah, that was the main reason. I used to make tomato sauces for about 7 hours. Just leave them on the gas. Just I think.
Bella mangiare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's great. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's all. Well, I grew up in an Italian household, and that's all that I eat now. I have a
Yeah.
very special family recipe, which is unique, and it's done with the cheapest cut of meat because they really couldn't afford any meat, the family back in Italy. So they used to go to the butchers. Do you know, like the way you used to go to the butchers, Lee, if you had a dog, and you go, "Have you got any bones?"
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, that's what they used to do, bones with little bits of meat on them, or the cheapest cut of meat, the cheapest. And that's what they used to get. Or it was blind pasta, meaning that there was no meat in it, like blind scouse, no meat in it. And
Hmm.
that's the way it was. And it's all over the world, how people survived. How people survived. It's incredible
Are
what
you
they've got.
into your cooking shows and stuff like that, Frank and Lee? Yeah,
Uh,
like
No,
Gordon
I've never
Ramsay.
been into cooking, and I've never been into watching it. Not much of a culinary expert, me. Pretty
Uh
crap at
huh.
well, I've
cooking.
got a ninja. I've got a ninja, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
brilliant. It's unbelievable. And you can throw anything in this ninja, and it's done in less than a third of the time. For example, you throw it in, whether it's from chilled or whether it's from frozen, and it's an unbelievable thing. It's just an air fryer, but it's a ninja.
Mm-hmm.
But
Have you ever
yeah,
seen the? There's a show called Kitchen Nightmares. Have you ever seen that?
no, I haven't.
I
It's
think I
Tell me
have.
funny.
more.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, I have. Yeah, that's quite funny. That. Yeah.
That's funny. But I'll send you a link, Frank, and then you can send it to Lee. One show, you got to watch it. I sent it to 12
No, I
man.
will. I
Okay,
will.
sounds. Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Too funny. Too funny. Like
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay's conquered the US with his cooking shows. He's got like 3 or 4 different shows, where he'll get like 20 contestants coming in. And what it is, they'll have sort of competition against each other, but there'll be teams. And then at
Yeah,
the end, there has to be one person left, and they like get a big contract at one of his joints in London or wherever it is, and they become big time chefs and stuff. And you look at the conflict they have within the kitchen; it's amazing. And it's food for me is a beautiful thing. You don't need to argue about it, You just like, but these guys go to war in the kitchen, and it's like it's a big show in America when it was happening as well. It was called Hell's Kitchen.
yeah.
Hell's Kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
enjoyed
funny.
them
No,
shows.
yeah.
I get a laugh out of them, like.
I tell you what, I did used to watch JK, and you must have watched it as well, Lee. And I wonder if people watched it as well on the TV. Was Ramsay's Nightmares? Was it Ramsay's Nightmares? Where he used to
Mm-hmm.
go into restaurants that were failing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but some of it was too orchestrated, where he's up in people's faces and doing all this.
Yeah.
That was orchestrated because I said to myself, you wouldn't stand for his insults and everything else, and his pointing. Just give him a belt. You would. But
The
our
actor,
friend
yeah.
Ali Moose says he was talking about the Romans, and they named Romania, and he said, but they still keep, when he said we defeated them, and he said, yeah, but they still keep coming till they conquer us. Of course, he conquers everybody. Don't take it personally, Ali. And yes, before the Romania was named Dacia, like the Romanian cars, after Romans came, they create Romania alongside Dacia people. Yes.
Yeah, you see them
So
cars, yeah.
I, yeah, the Romans are unbelievable. I used to get love doing lectures about them and lectures about the look at this fella here. Look. He's only got up. Did you see that he had? Did you remember the other night, boys, when he had a mattress on the wall.
Oh yeah.
Hope you're all right, Daryl. Yeah.
Uh,
I hope everything went well with your son or something at the hospital.
what have I missed? He said, JK, tell him what he's missed, mate.
No, we're talking about Gordon Ramsay in America. Hell's
You
Kitchen.
missed a new film called Showgirls, and it was all about. And we showed a clip. We was only going to show a 1 minute 30-second clip, Daryl, and but we were allowed to show. And I said to the people, all the lads, if they wanted to see more, let me know, because when we showed the 1 minute 30 seconds, they were made up. And they was absolutely delighted. But unfortunately, JK got there late. And anyway, they all wanted to see the full film, but it wasn't allowed. So we only showed 3/4 of an hour of it. So you missed out on it. He said, "Oh, that should go out at 12 o'clock at night, not like in the morning time." So that's what you missed, Daryl. Showgirls. Cheers, JK. It's out there and good, mate. Bless you, bro, says Daryl.
Damn, bro. Good to hear.
That's nice, isn't it? And Brian Morrissey. How's it going, Frank? That's all right, Brian. We're just finishing now, unfortunately. We've been on since 7:45 this morning, doing all these TV reviews. And we had Tom Cruise on, Brian, at 9:30. And then we switched over. George Clooney made an appearance as well. He was saying about his new projects that he's doing. And Clint phoned through. He couldn't appear. He said, the way films are going today, it's shocking, because you've got to go along with a certain narrative. It's all this wokeness. He said, and I feel sorry for the young actors. And, so that was it.
You met Clint, haven't you, Frank, yeah?
Sorry?
You've met Clint, haven't you?
Yeah, I've met Clint. I met him up in Scotland. And I had a cup of tea with him. He said, have a coffee. But the funniest thing was after half an hour, because I was with some fella, he wouldn't come over. And this fella who was with, this Kenny lad, his uncle owned this thing called Duck Bay. And it's a complex on Loch Lomond. And the unfortunate thing is, no one else can build anything. That's the only complex that was there. So anyway, it goes up. This is in 1994 or 93, 94. Or was it 95? I don't know, one of them years anyway. So it gets up there. I got invited up there by this Kenny and his wife Eleanor, and goes up there. And Kenny says to his wife Eleanor, the one I was with at the time, they were going to a market, because this was a Saturday morning, around 10 o'clock. Anyway, goes up. Kenny said, well, this is where we're going. Excuse me. Sorry about that. He said, come on, this is where we're going tonight. So we went up. And there was this big monster on the door. He must have been 7'6" tall, huge fella. I said, where are you going? I said, I'm coming in here. He said, no, you're not. Here. But anyway, cut a long story short, he allowed us in. And Kenny said, do you want a lemonade? Because this is early in the morning. I said, no. I said, okay. So anyway, I looked over and there was one man sitting in the, right at the back of this thing. And I looked over. Now, Duck Bay is it's a big venue, for these like stars or whatever. And there was one man sitting. And I goes over. I said, Kenny, look who's there. So I said, come over with us. He said, no. Because he was a very shy person. I walked over and I said, Mr. Eastwood. And he said, sit down. And he said, would you like a coffee? I said, no, I'd rather have a tea. So I sat with him for half an hour, having a cup of tea and talking about him. And he was talking about the Beatles. So anyway, I said, listen, Mr. Eastwood, I have to go with this gentleman down there. He said, bring him over. He said, he wouldn't come over. He's shy. I said, anyway, I'll have to go. Here's me saying to Clint Eastwood, I have to go. So anyway, he stood up, huge fella, very tall.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I shook his hand. I said, thank you so much. It's been an unbelievable experience. This is the greatest thing that's happened to me. So anyway, he sat back down and I walked away. And he went, I said, turns around and I said, once again, Mr. Eastwood. And do you know what he said to me? Call me Clint. So I said, all right, Clint, I'll see you again.
When they drop that line, when they drop that, just call me by my first name. You sound like them, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Hey, Frank, call me Clint. All right, Clint, see you again, mate. And I got off, absolutely amazing. Anyway, yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't got you in the film yet, Frank.
Well, that's it, you see. I think
I'm waiting for it.
He lost me number. Lost me number. I said, I want to act alongside Sharon Stone or Angelina Jolie. Any of those.
And he was like, so do I.
He'd be lucky, fella. That's what he would have said most probably. And Brian says, I must rewind. I must rewind the show. And he carries on by saying, it's easy to confuse JK with Clooney. Oh, they are. Look at JK with Clooney.
I'm not that good at them, bro.
He's the man with no name, Frank. Absolutely. He's the man with no name. That's it. He's talking about Clint, with his spaghetti western. Listen, boys.
Great show.
It's 12:35 here, and Lee's been sitting there since 9:10. He said,
Do you know what? I've been sitting there since last night, since we done the footy show. I haven't been asleep. That's why, like, a couple of times I've looked like I'm like that.
Yeah. Isn't it great the way they start? I said, you're gonna finish now. And look, Brian Morrissey, Ali Noose, now Mark Simons. The Nick was a good series too.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, Mark. Thanks for recommending that, the Nick. I haven't finished it yet, actually, but thanks, Mark. You're a good man for that. Good series, the Nick.
But listen, lads, can I ask you to watch a film? Don't watch The Beekeeper. Shocking. Okay. It's that bad that do you know what they've done with it, JK? They threw it on YouTube. They put it on YouTube. I seen, the thing, The Beekeeper, full English. Yeah.
The Jason thing you did.
Jason Statham, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. But anyway, lads, would you watch 2 films for me?
No problem.
Great. And they're oldish, one of them's like not that old, but the other one, 2012. I want you to watch that and see what you think. See what you think of these like predictions. Remember H.G. Wells? What was his prediction? Shall I tell you?
Go on.
I'll tell you what it is. It's what someone just took me, man. What did they say there? What the prediction did I say?
Liverpool win the league.
What did I say then?
H.G. Wells prediction.
Yeah, thank you. I completely went out of my mind. Well, he predicted, Liverpool will win the league. But he predicted about the First World War and planes.
Yeah.
And you're talking the 19th century, the 1800s. You're talking then.
Yeah.
And bombs and everything else.
Yeah.
So predictions do, what do you think of Nostradamus, by the way? Do you believe all that stuff? Because people interpret what he's writing. His writings. And I can't, a bit dodgy with that. See, that my picture's gone again.
Vague.
Sorry?
A little vague. Yeah.
Very vague. Very vague.
Yeah.
And Mark says, Frank, the Equalizer 3 is set in Naples. Well, I can't imagine, I'm not being funny, I can't imagine the Equalizer going around Naples killing people. No way.
No, is it Denzel, yeah? I think it's Denzel.
Must be. Denzel.
Do you remember the original one, Equalizer? That guy was in it. I can't remember his name though. It was good. Yeah, that's the name. That's the name.
Edward
I remember it from when I was little.
Well, I remember him, and you go, you wouldn't have him coming up to you, would you, and telling you what to do. You wouldn't, would you? Edward Woodward. The Equalizer 3 is in Naples. The Lotus Eaters, yes, that was a very good series. You're going back there, Mark. And The Wicker Man. It depends on The Wicker Man. What one did you like? I like the original with Christopher Lee, funny enough. Christopher Lee was in it. And Edward Woodward. Edward Woodward was the cop. And I tell you who else was in it. It was Britt Eklund. Did you ever see it, boys?
Yeah, I've seen it loads of times.
Yeah, right. Particularly that scene with Britt in. Do you remember the scene with Britt in, Lee?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you do.
Sure do, yeah.
Where she goes in for it and buys a bag of a bag of potatoes because she's doing a roast.
Classic scene. Classic
shop scene as well, especially buying the potatoes. I'll have a bag of those King Eddies, she says, doesn't she? But anyway, listen, lads. Look, this Mark Simons, he's going on, look. Yeah, the original, he says.
He knows his films and series, he does. Yeah.
And he goes on about Sutherland, right? Don't Look Now, set in Venice, with a midget and red coat speaking. Yeah, I watched Donald Sutherland in a film, believe it or not, the other day on YouTube. And the stars in it were incredible. But they all did cameos. John Hurt, he was in it. But he was they were cameos. David Warner, cameos. What's his name? Dorothy mentioned them before. Dorothy, I think she's left us, Dorothy. Do you know what? Why doesn't it work for me? No. Hang on, I forgot his name. Christopher Plummer. Christopher Plummer was in it as well. And Virginia McKenna, a good old British stalwart. Virginia McKenna. She was in it. But they were only cameos. Peter Bowles. Unbelievable cast. But it was dreadful. It was really bad. You know, like he plays a hitman for whoever, I don't know anyway. So don't watch it. Shocking. Right, lads, I'm going to end here. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine, bro.
Is that okay? So what do you think, boys, about the match?
I'm looking forward to it.
You still going along with your predictions, JK?
Yeah. I think with the back line, if I'd rather go with Gomez. I think Gomez has to play. It's between Bradley and Robertson. It's like between them two guys. Which guy are you going to pick out of them two? You know, because the other three will be Gomez, Kanate, and Van Dijk, with Alisson in goal. So we have to make the decision: is Robertson ready to play, or if he doesn't play at left back, Gomez can play there, and then Bradley can play right back. So for me, that's the only thing.
No, I agree entirely, because I'd play Bradley right back if he's like aware enough, if you know what I mean. You know, he hasn't got the if his, I know it's terrible to say, like the death of his dad, if he can clear that from his mind, I'll play him, and I'd have Joe at left back.
I think playing football might be good for him at this time.
Yes.
As you know, so
yes,
yeah.
What about you, Ray?
A projection. I'd say 2-0. I fancy 2-0.
So does JK.
Yep.
JK,
I don't know why, I just fancy 2-0. I'll stick with 2-0, yeah.
2-0, and you stick with 2-0 as well, JK, from last night.
Yeah, from last night. I'm going 2-0, but I got a second prediction. I always got like 3-1. I like to have clean sheets, so that's why I go with the 0. But 2-0 or 3-1 at the 2, you know. I just feel that we need to start the game fast, and I don't want Brentford to get any foot in the game, you know. And I think when we have shaky starts, it don't really go well for us. If we start well, we finish well. I always believe that. But if we sort of have a bit of a rookie, we always have rookie first half this season. Second half, total different story. So if you've got Salah and Gakpo on the bench, they're two good guys and to bring on if needed.
The point is as well what you were saying, and this is just my opinion, by the way. This is just my opinion. And we never dealt into it too much last night. And it was, why did Klopp change so dramatically the team that played so well against Chelsea? See what I mean?
I think
Strange.
I think didn't we have a few injuries coming in and out there? Because I remember Szoboszlai, Trent came in and out around that time, and it's a bit confusing what happened. But I feel
he changed it. He changed everything.
Yeah.
I understand that. And all people, you know, even the people were saying, well, he should have picked the same team, but why can't we pick the same 11? And it's as simple as that, because you've got Arsenal picking the same 11, and they know the ins and outs of each other. We're chopping and changing. We're chopping and changing every game, more or less. I don't think he's played the same 11 twice. Back to back.
But I feel if the Bradley situation didn't happen, I feel that Klopp would have kept that defence where Bradley right back, Gomez left, Kanate and Van Dijk, and it would have let Trent rest that knee injury. That I think he just rushed Trent back too quick, you know. And I don't really want to hear fans moaning about Trent. I think Trent, technically the best player in the squad, you know, one of the best passers of the ball. He can change the game from defence to attack. Next level.
Greatest passer of the ball. Go on.
Top quality, you know. And then people are moaning about him. Yeah, he as a footballer, I prefer playing attack than defense. Virgil rather play defense than attack. It's the way you are as a footballer. But I feel Trent sort of outgrown the right back position. You know, you can see it in his defending, not top quality, but attacking wise, he's the best crosser of the ball in our thingy. He got the assist in the last game with the corner.
Yes.
And when we were dangerous, it was the seasons where we used our fullbacks to cross and get assists. This season, we're not really doing that. So I think Robertson and Trent, if he comes, but Bradley, he can cross the ball. So I think if Robertson and Bradley play, they won't play tomorrow together because I think Gomez will come in. They need to get the balls in from wide in. They have to do that.
Well, Tsimikas is fit. And Tsimikas is a better passer of a ball. I mean, a crosser of a ball than Robertson.
He's got a more cultured left foot, and Tsimikas. He has got a more cultured left foot. But he can't defend as well as Robbo. But there are advantages to him going forward, like Tsimikas.
Would you get rid of Tsimikas, lads? You know, in the summer?
Not really. He's just signed a new contract, and he's well liked.
You know what it
is? I feel that see your Gapcos, your Gravenberches, your Tsimikas, all international footballers, and a squad needs them type of guys who are not going to cause drama off the field because they're not getting starts in games, you know. And I feel we've got Tsimikas. He's a good fullback. He ain't the best, but he's good. Then you got Gapco and Gravenberch, Dutch internationals, who can only get better. They can't get any worse, but they can only get better. So for me, yeah, I'd keep Tsimikas. I think Robertson maybe not this season. Next season will be his last for us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Gravenberch will go in the summer, you know.
Yeah.
I think they'll sell him. I think
could well do.
Yeah, but he needs to take that chance now.
Yeah, but as you said, Lee, JK, as you said, he's not, you know, he hasn't hit the heights. And he hasn't hit the heights for me. You said that he could only get better. I don't think he can. I look at him, and I'll tell you who else I look at as well. And you're going to kick me head in now. Gapco. There are better players out there than them two. Gapco's 6'4". He should be using his height more. He should be using his athleticism more as well. I really do. 6'4", and I remember him. It was out 2 games or so. After 2 games, he picked the ball up in midfield. Right, you know where the centre circle is, but in the opposition's area, you know, side. And he picked the ball up there and he ran down the middle and he beat a couple of players. And he put it out to the wing, to the Diaz or somebody. And I went, this is great. We're going to have a gem here. And ever since then, it's just been below average all the time. Below average.
I think he's not a regular starter for Klopp. And with every football player, they want to be a regular starter. So that can mess around with your head sometimes, you know what I mean? I think Gravenberch, when he first came into the team, he was trying too hard, kept on falling over.
Yes.
He hasn't fallen over that much in the last few games, I realised. So he must be getting better.
I think that's a good point. I know you're laughing. And that goes to Darwin Núñez. Remember JK and Lee? Remember when we were saying that he was always getting caught offside?
Yep.
Darwin.
And he stopped.
And we saw all of a sudden. Remember when I said last week? I said, you know, he's staying on side. He's doing his runs to perfection.
Yep.
And he is.
Same as with Harvey Elliott. I said the guy don't cross enough in the game for me. And what he did, he got 2 assists in 1 game. So they're listening to us, Frank and Lee. They're listening to us. But it's logic. It's logical, you know. When you look at football, I think people overhype football and overcomplicate football. For me, it's logical. When you look at a player like Harvey Elliott, you're thinking he's not fast. He can pass the ball decently. He knows how to do that. But for me, I want to see him get a ball and cross it to a guy who knocks it in. And he did that in the last game.
He did it in the last game, because he looked up, didn't he?
He looked up and he crossed it perfectly, and that's all you want from him. I think I don't like people moaning about players. Like, for me, the time you moan about players is when the season ends. I think when the season's in motion, just support the players. Like Gravenberch, imagine he scores the winner against Wolves last game of the season and we win the league. Just imagine, though. So that's why I'm saying it's like Gapco, you said he did that turn and he took on a few guys, and you're like, we've got a gem here. So it's in him to do that. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you've seen bits and bobs in them guys.
But that's what I was going to say. JK, do you think, having me said, I haven't said that myself.
Frank, I'm going to call it a day here. I'm knackered, mate. I'm literally falling asleep. Is that all right? Because we're there.
Haven't you slept at all?
I haven't. No, not yet. Oh, yeah.
Take care, bro.
Lee, you've got to sleep, you know, mate.
I know, I usually do, like, but I'll see you on Tuesday, yeah.
Of course you will.
Bro.
Well, listen, I might. I'm not saying I will, but I might do a post-match podcast. If you do, willing.
Well, are we on Saturday or Sunday this week?
Tomorrow.
Saturday. Okay.
I might do, if you fancy it.
Yeah.
I'll message you, Frank. Yeah.
Okay, message me. And get someone else. Get Mark on if you want.
What about the link? Is there a link? Is there?
Yeah, there will be a link. Jason will get hold of Jason.
Right. So if you do one, you send a link, and if you don't, there won't.
No, if you want it, JK, and if you want it, Lee, post match, we'll do it. Tell me now.
That's cool.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You're okay. All right. So that's say like half an hour after the game finishes. Is that okay?
Yeah, sound, yeah.
Yeah, that's sound. Yeah.
I'll see you then anyway.
See if we get a result, eh?
I can get Brian and say maybe to our final as well. See what happens.
Yeah, that'll be brilliant. If they can make it. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, lad. Thank you, JK. Thank you, Lee. And I'm sorry
that Take care, Lee.
See you later, boys. Thank you so much.
Boys.
See you later. Ciao.
Cheers,
Adamani.
See you in a minute.